Joseph.
All right, here we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Sully Squad. Couldn't do the show last night. Had something to do, so figured we'd do it tonight, especially considering it's an NHL free agency, NBA free agency. So lots of rumors going on. And then of course last week we had the NBA draft, we had the NHL draft. So we'll get into some of that. And also we got a big Phillies week coming up, a nice measuring stick series against the Padres, because the Padres got a pretty good team. And then you got, the Reds coming in 4th of July. So, fireworks and hopefully fireworks, obviously fireworks off the field, and hopefully the Phillies will have some good fireworks on the field and score some runs. So, unlike last week in Houston, what was that? Three games. What did we score? 1 run?
Pretty much. Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, we'll get a little Phillies talk later, but we're going to, do a lot of Sixers and Flyers. So I got my usual cast minus Diego. I got my man Jeff right next to me. What's up, Jeff? How you doing?
Doing good. Just wanted to say happy Canada Day.
Oh, okay.
Happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Bobby Bonilla Day. I knew that one. Yeah.
And today's show is being brought to you by Imodium.
I know, right? Yeah, really. Oh man. And then I got right next to Jeff, I got my man Sean Killer Kilrain. What's up, dog? How you doing?
Not much. Jeff just stole the show, but
yes.
Bobby Bonilla is rich again, so he's good. I'm hoping to be good, but all in all, let's get into all this Flyers and Sixers and Phillies talk.
Yeah, and Bobby Bonilla, I mean, it's funny because, Bob, his agent, boy, what a job his agent did getting him this money all these years later. I mean, when was that? I think he signed that contract like 1992 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But he said he's investing the money. I watched something on the sports show or something, and he's basically smart with his money. He's, doing what everybody does in retirement. He's golfing. He's spending more time with his son. I think his son plays golf, or I think he's an avid baseball player. Who knows? But yeah, he's just smart with his money, and more power to him.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And yeah, can you imagine like just chilling, and then you're like, oh, you know what? It's July 1st. Hey, I got a nice meal coming to me. You know what I'm saying? That'd be great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, but yeah, man. So, like I said, lots to get into here. You know what? How about if we, because we'll get into free agency, because I know the Flyers, Sixers made a move last night. They signed a forward from the Nets, and then the Flyers made some moves today. Let's start off with the Flyers here. So we got the Flyers signed fourth-line center Christian Dvorak to a 1-year, $5.4 million contract. He was with Montreal, and I think he played for Tocchet back, didn't he? I think he played for Tocchet a few years back. What, Knicks or something, or Vancouver? I forget.
Yeah, Vancouver.
Okay. Then the Flyers signed some defenseman Dennis Gilbert to a 1-year deal, $875K.
Tocchet connection too as well, Joey.
Then they signed a defenseman, Nola Juleson, to a 1-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
And then a goalie, Dan Vlader, 2-year, $6.7 million. From what I gather, he's kind of like he's not really a bona fide number one starter. He's going to kind of come here and be and play in conjunction, I guess, with Ursan.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I was going to ask Jeff, who's the odd man out, and you.
I think Vlader will take over. He had like a 2.8 I'll just say GPA. Yeah, goals against average last year.
Okay.
He was back up to Calgary. A Wolf out there.
Okay.
But he's not a bad goalie. Big guy. I think he'll take over. It depends on how well Ursan plays. Ursan played pretty well in the series that was going around over in Europe and all. So it's not the answer.
But it's serviceable.
Right. He's serviceable. He won't be. I'm going to say he's not going to be as bad as Kozlov and Fedotov at all.
Okay.
I think those two, they're just waiting to jettison. Unless they all of a sudden get hot. Yeah.
Yeah, that Fedotov guy really sucked. I mean, I thought maybe
high praise for him.
Yeah, I thought maybe he would be something. And the other guy, the Kosilov dude or whatever, like he was supposed, he was supposedly a decent prospect. He came here, he kind of blew also.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I feel like the Flyers' number one goalie's that young Russian kid that's like 2-3 years away. So maybe, you try to hold it down with these guys, but I don't know, man. I mean, I know and then supposedly the guy, I forget how you say his name, Shabarov or
Shaparov. Yeah, Shaparov.
Yeah. So there's people are saying it's down to the Flyers, Rangers, or possibly Islanders to see where he comes. And, so, I mean, that would be nice to bring him in,
Depends on who wants to play on a team that's actually rebuilding. Because they lost 2 goaltenders they were going after hot and heavy because they didn't want to play on a rebuilding team. And that's really a big part of why Fedotov and Kozlov weren't that good. And a couple of goalies before it at Ursan too. I mean, they're okay goalies. There's just no defense in front of them. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care if you're, Hachette. You have no defense in front of you. You're going to get blown the hell away.
Yeah, you pretty much need that in front of you,
Yeah.
Almost like a blanket, So that doesn't happen. You're SOL.
That's huge. Plus, you don't have players that come back and help on defense. That's another big thing, too. People just see the defense and say, oh, this defense sucks. But if you don't have your offensive players playing both ways, it ain't going to work either.
I know it's a different sport. It's like Jalen Hurts not having his O-line.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly it.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Flyers had a decent amount of cap space, like, but apparently, like this really wasn't the year for big time free agents. I mean, so that's a little frustrating because I'm kind of hoping that they move this program forward a little bit this year. But I guess I can understand the rationale. Like, we were just in cap hell, and and we still are paying some guys that like the Ryan Ellis and you got Couturier signed up until 2030 and he's got a bad back now. So, I can understand that they don't want to get in cap hell, but I was kind of hoping that maybe we would, maybe we'd be able to make a little bit of a splash, like whether it's trade or restricted free agent. But I mean, it's only the first day. So we'll see, we'll see what happens. Maybe they could offload a few, future picks or something for somebody that's a young core guy or something like that.
Tocchet's trying to. I can see what they're trying to do, and I think the same mindset as Briere and Jonesy is they're trying to get a team together, guys that will go together, and this is like when the new teams came into the league. Look what Vegas did. Vegas took out off of every team, and they made the playoffs the first year.
Yeah,
and the Sharks the same way.
Guys that gelled, you're right.
Exactly.
And who would have knew? Like, you know what I mean? An expansion team. But like you said, Jeff, you have well-respected and well-known veterans.
Yeah.
And they all gelled, believe it or not.
And you see in the draft, they went big. One small guy in there. They went big. Yep.
6'6", 6'5". I think they had a solid draft. No more, I'm not saying small guys, like diminutive guys. They got bigger guys, to bang around, You
look online anywhere, and they said the Flyers had the second best draft out of all the teams.
Yeah. That's what I was going to, obviously, that remain, we'll see what happens a few years down the road. But yeah, I mean, you're right. A lot of the pundits said the Flyers did have a good draft. I mean, a lot of people, some I know some of the guys were questioning the trade up, where they traded up. They traded up to get the center, Jack Nesbitt. So they traded 22 and 31 to move up to 12
with Pittsburgh. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of I think one of the other, I forget who it was, but one of the other team's GMs basically came out and said that Nesbitt probably was going to go in the 13 to 17 range. So the Flyers, if the Flyers really liked the kid, they had to trade up to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically that's what they were saying on ESPN, like you said, Joe. And it looks like they did hit it out of the box, with the drafts. I'm pretty happy with it.
I really do think they'll make the playoffs this year. They almost made it last year. And you got a lot of young guys. You got some guys back. You're getting rid of some junk that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
They need to come together, and that's what Taka can do: is bring these guys together, show them some toughness, bring in some of these big guys, and also don't show some of these teams that are not going to take any shit. Because once you hit the playoffs, all holds barred, man.
Well, since you bring that up, Jeff, I seen UFC Petrosky is teaching some of these Flyers defensemen how to fight, which is good.
The biggest thing is fighting.
Grappling.
I don't know if you guys ever played ice hockey.
No.
Sean, you ever play ice hockey? Joe, you ever play ice hockey?
I can't. I played street hockey. You know what? I played a lot of sports. I never could master skate.
I could roller skate. I can't ice skate. I look like a duckling. So.
No, the biggest thing in with fighting is balance. You got to know. You got to figure out how to. You got to dig those skates in the right way and balance. When you're being pulled left and right, you get your jersey pulled, you get your helmet pulled. Plus, you don't want to get your face knocked off. So that's the biggest thing is balance, and that's a lot of things what the UFC and these guys can do because they have all the different moves. A boxer is a boxer, but this guy's got how to do flips and twists and all that. And that's if you watch a fight, rarely, unless you look back in the days like at Probert fights and those kind of things, those were just like rock and sock and robots. Nowadays, though, they're twisting and turning and pulling each other around and everything, so you can try and get that advantage, and then you start hitting. So that's where I think a lot of that will come in and help. The mindset of just having body control.
I love watching Dave Brown just annihilate dudes.
Yeah.
He's that kind of dude. Yep. Even off the ice, probably at a bar.
Did you ever? It's going to sound weird. Did you ever see him? I don't want to say with his clothes on. I'm going to rephrase that. Did you ever see one of his jersey on? I was down in the locker room when I was a guard down there, security guard, and he was skinny as a freaking rail. I mean, he was strong as hell, but he was skinny.
But they're the guys. But they're the guys that pack a punch. Like, my dad grew up with a dude, skinny as hell, like you said, Irish kid, and they would fight under the underpass, and they would bet like, yo, he's gonna knock this big dick. Doesn't matter, size don't matter, and he was knocking him out, like you said, Jeff. So
it was funny. Yep.
I saw my buddy Chris from Connecticut one time got in a rumble with this one guy. And, Chris wasn't a big guy. He put him down one shot. I was like, damn, dude, good. You know what I mean? But if you have the right leverage, a lot of it's leverage and leverage and getting your whole body into it.
Brownie had long arms.
Yeah.
He had real long arms, so he could keep you, at length. So when that guy's swinging, he's punching.
Yeah. I'll never forget that fight in Montreal. We talked about it when we did the Flyers old school.
Yeah.
And then that game 6, I mean, you talked about Dave Brown, he's coming out, he's got like flip-flops on out there fighting.
Brad McClellan was a flip-flop man. He was in the shower. Brad McClellan was in the shower. He came out with his flip-flops on.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's funny. Awesome. It's funny because, we're talking about, obviously, the Flyers got, Michkov, and he's a young star. And, it looks like they're going to, they're going after a few of, the other Russian kid. And by all means, I mean, I'm 100% on board with that because that's the talent level. Ironically, we're saying the Flyers got, really good grades for the draft. I feel like the Flyers, honored Ed Snyder with this draft. I mean, because if I'm looking at it, they took all big guys. They selected 7 forwards, 2 defensemen, five Canadians, 3 Americans, and 1 Finn. This was a classic. This was like a classic old school, like 1970s, 80s Flyers draft. You know what I'm saying?
But the league's going back that way. Like I said, for a while there, the league I'm saying maybe 7-8 years ago, the league was all just scoring and quick guys and all that stuff. You had Tampa Bay and all them would go into the cup, and they were all little quick guys. You had the, the Red Wings, all the quick guys that could score from Russia.
Absolutely.
It's gotten back now to some, 1 or 2 big guys on the team who would fight and protect your players.
Yeah.
And then just the big guys in general who can shoot, score. I mean, it's like baseball or any other sport in football. They're getting bigger and stronger.
Yeah, well, look at the Panthers. I mean, if the perfect example, Florida Panthers have won 2 straight Stanley Cups. They made the Stanley Cup Finals. I think 3-4 years ago they made it. So they've been in the Cup Finals 3 or 4 of the last 5 years. Including 2 straight championships. And the Panthers, they have size and skill.
Yeah.
And so. And I know that obviously the Flyers are in rebuild mode still. They're not ready for a Stanley Cup, obviously, but you want to start kind of building your team to play with those big boys. You got to be able to match up.
And you also with the change in team, you have players and free agents out there. They're going to want to come to your team again because for the longest time, players wanted to come to Philadelphia. Just like people want to come and play for the Eagles. Players want to come and play for the Phillies.
Not only that, you bring up a good point. Rick Tockett's back. A Philly favorite for Flyers. He's kind of like you said, Jeff and Joey, bringing that old school back, which is awesome. And, I'm right there with you. They need to bring back some old school hockey, mix in a little bit of fight. And it kind of makes people want to be more in tune with the game because it kind of went on the back burner.
They'll think twice about going into a corner for a puck when you have a guy 6'5" coming at you. I know you have a certain distance that you can hit, but when you have a guy, you're still feeling it. When they hit the boards, I don't know. Like I said, I played ice hockey, so I know what it feels like to hit the boards and all that. It still doesn't feel that great.
No,
it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, how you hit. It still rattles you a little bit. Your insides get rattled a little, tires you out. That's a big thing.
Yeah, I'm a little intrigued by their 2nd round pick. I kind of like the write-up of this kid. The 38th pick overall, they selected a defenseman, Carter Amico, from the U.S. national team. Now, he's got some size to him.
6'5"?
I think he's like, I know he's got some size to him. He had some injuries last year, but sometimes you get a guy in the 2nd round, that maybe might have, say, 1st round talent because he was hurt. Yeah, so I'm kind of intrigued by that kid. It looks like he's actually 6'6", 234, right-handed shot. So I mean, if you could,
that's a big boy.
If you could find a way to develop that kid. Maybe he's the kind of guy that can play that enforcer role, like the, clear guys out of the crease.
That's a big thing. Clearing guys out of the crease and giving the goalie a clear shot.
Yeah, you said his size. That. You said his size. I see that as the enforcer and the crease clean-upper. 6'6", 234. Don't get no bigger and better than that. He can probably grow into his body, but man, that's a big boy.
Yeah. Yep. So what do you guys? All right. So what I have on the bottom there, draft grades. I mean, what would you guys? And again, I'm not going to bullshit. I mean, I'm only going by, it's not like I've sat there and watched these dudes play, so I couldn't tell you. I'm going by when it comes to the freaking hockey draft, I mean, you're going by what you read. You know what I mean? But like, what do you guys think as far as I just like the fact that they got some guys. It seems like they got some size and some skill. So like Jeff, like what you feel pretty confident about some of these guys they added?
I give them an A with upside, not an A plus. I think I'm trying to think who really knocked it out of the park, but an A with upside. That's a huge thing, where these guys just aren't filling in. There's some upside to these players.
Yeah, how about you, Sean?
Solid A. Size. Yeah, they addressed that need. Big, bringing in some young big boy talent. Yeah, so solid A for me.
Yeah, and then you combine that with getting Zegras to play center.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden the talent level on this team is they have the first round pick. I mean, it remains to be seen whether he'll make the team or not. I mean, it looks like he may play in college. But if he has a really good camp, Porter Martone, if he has a really good camp, maybe he comes up here too, and then all of a sudden you look at some of these Flyers lines. I mean, they did get a kick in the ass. It looks like Forrester's got an injury. He got hurt. He got hurt in the whatever the hell that shit was. What was it? World tournament?
Yeah, bicep injury in the world classic.
Yeah, but I think Briere said that I think they're hoping he could be ready for camp. So we'll see what happens there. But you look at the forward pairings. I mean, all of a sudden you got what? You got like TK, you got Zegras, you got Michkov. You got guys like Tippett and Forrester. Couturier. I mean, he's.
Yeah.
But the one thing about Couturier though, he was playing pretty well at the end of the year, and you kind of hope. He's another year removed from that back injury. I mean, I don't think you'll ever see Couturier be at the level that he was 4 or 5 years ago, but you hope that maybe, he could at least be at a decent level. You know what I mean? A good second second line guy, Mike Pappert Jr. says, how do you guys feel about the goalie the Flyers signed as a free agent? I'm kind of
serviceable.
Yeah.
They had 3 goalies they were looking for, and all 3 signed. So he's like the 4th on the list. Yeah,
the one from the Devils, like you were saying, right?
Yep, that was number 1.
I mean, serviceable in my.
They were trying to trade with Edmonton. They wanted to get Jeff Skinner.
I don't want Jeff Skinner after Game 7.
Yeah, well, the whole team. I don't know what's going on with that team. They seem to just get there and fall flat when they're in the cup.
True,
but.
I know we need somebody to get to Connor McDavid and hypnotize him and tell him he wants to come to Philadelphia. That's what we need.
He said the Flyers were going after him, but he ain't coming here. He does not want a rebuild team. He wants to win a cup.
No, I know. I understand that. No, I realize it's a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. But
he wins something says, "Get me on the first flight to Philly."
I would be like, all right, we're gonna give you Tippett, TK,
a
whole front line, our first line,
4 or 5 first round.
You'd have to give them Michkov, you'd have to give them Zegras, you'd have to give them Tocchet. You have
to give them like everything,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not gonna.
That would be like a Gretzky trade back.
The Kings were losing money. The Kings were losing money. It didn't work for them. They needed money, so that's why they got trade off.
Yeah. I think that was one of the and the thing that set that up too was Gretzky was dating the Hollywood actress, and he wanted out.
Johnny Jones.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a forced thing.
I'll tell you something. I've seen the commercials with Gretzky, and I saw him during the Cup. He didn't age very well. He's got a flat face.
Yeah.
I used to see Gretzky as a kid. What's your feeling?
What's our feeling on the Flyers signing center Dvorak from the Canadiens and the 2 defensemen? I mean, the 2 defensemen, they look like stopgap type guys. The Dvorak guy looks like good. I mean, yeah, he looks like he could be a decent. Well, the other thing that's good about them, I like the fact that it was only a 1-year contract. $5 million a year for a fourth line center, that seems like a lot of money, but it's only 1 year. And the other thing contract.
Prove it exactly.
Well, we're hoping. I mean, I would like to see the Flyers get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But let's be real. I mean, next year's free agency is really where it's at. There's supposed to be a lot of good free agents next year, and it's just so say the Flyers are sitting there at the trade deadline and they're like, maybe they're out of the playoffs or whatever. Well, the fourth line center that they signed is the kind of guy you could flip at the trade deadline and get yourself like a couple more draft picks and assets at the deadline. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, and then you don't have any, and there's no money moving forward. Like, I wouldn't want to see, like, if Briere had signed him to like a 2 or 3 year deal at like $4 or $5 million a year, I'd be like, why are we giving a fourth line center $4 or $5 million a year multiple years? But for 1 year, I think it's fine. So I don't know. I mean, I like what they're doing. I like that they're getting some size. So I give the draft a good grade. But again, it doesn't really matter what the hell we say. You know what I mean? It matters.
They could all be great, and they could all suck. We don't know. We got to see them on the ice.
They can all get flushed down. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, but there was another draft last week. We've been talking Flyers, but NBA draft happened last week. Philadelphia 76ers add yet another guard, VJ Edgecombe with the third pick.
Edgecombe, yeah.
Edgecombe. I keep calling him Edgecombe. Well, whatever. Edgecombe.
Comb your hair. Yeah.
So they get Edgecombe in the first round, and then they draft the center power forward from Auburn.
Johnny
I'm a little intrigued by him. What was it, John? What was his name? Johnny. Here, hang on. I'm drawing a blank on his name here. I've seen him play in Auburn too. I actually like the kid.
He's an old school throwback kind of center.
Johnny Brew. Yeah, I watched him in the NCAA tournament.
Auburn, yeah.
And I think that's the kid that got hurt, and then he came back in the game or whatever, and I think he got hurt like the Elite Eight. He came back in, but they, the one thing about that kid, he's a hustler. He's a rebounder. He's a hustler, and he's a really good passer for a big man. Yeah. So I'm kind of a little intrigued.
That was a good pick.
Yeah, here's hoping. I think he was a 4-year college player.
Yeah, he played at Morehead State, Joey, and then he went to Auburn.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping that he, maybe he could be like a poor man's Draymond Green. I mean, remember when Draymond Green came out, he didn't go to the second round because he was a 4-year college guy. He had limitations, but he got to the league and he could do. He could pass. He knows how to play. He knows how to play the game. So, here's hoping that kid could do that. But what do you guys? I mean, the big one is Edgecombe. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of him?
That was a good pick.
I like him. I think we said in the group chat. I like Edgecombe's mentality. He's not immature like. Good riddance, Ace Bailey, who went to the Jazz.
I love it. And he didn't go to the
Jazz, but you're getting a kid that came from nothing, like he said, in Haiti or wherever he was. How his mom had sacrificed. He has that will and desire, and that mentality that you can't teach. So
he looks grounded.
Yeah, I mean He's in the zone. He's ready. He's ready to step up and do whatever it takes, in my opinion.
Yeah, he definitely looks grounded. He looks like he has a good, like you said, a good family and a good background. And he doesn't, the way he came off, he doesn't take shit for granted. And
he's not like that immature 19-year-old kid like Ace was.
I was sitting, I was home. My boys were home, and we were watching the draft, and I just kept texting them. Bo Callahan.
Yeah.
Remember Callahan kept dropping in the draft on draft day. I said, go ahead, Ace, keep going. And then they stick them up there, and I'm like, yeah, there you go. Go to a place you had no clue that they wanted you there. You're going to Utah, buddy.
Oh, it was great. I know. I loved it because I mean that's the one thing. Danny Ainge don't give a fuck. Like Danny Ainge is like it's so funny. Like you could see like Ace Bailey's like agent kind of. By the way, did you guys see the video of his agent? His agent seems like a clusterfuck. That dude. Mm-hmm. So he's gotten some bad advice, but like Danny Ainge is sitting there and he's just like he's looking like. He's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to let this kid tell me what I'm doing. Yeah, all right, buddy, enjoy Utah, cuz. You know what I mean? Like, it was great.
Yep.
It was great.
I love the look on his face. He did not.
He was flabbergasted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what's funny, though, from a basketball perspective, if he actually takes a second and, like, stops worrying about, like, the city or usage or any of that other shit, the Jazz are actually a good fit for Ace Bailey. Like he could go there. You know what I mean? Like the Jazz have a pretty good coach. Like they have the one thing about Utah has always been good at developing players. I mean, they had Gordon Hayward years ago. You know what I mean? Like Lauri Markkanen went there, and Lauri Markkanen's career totally took off once he went to Utah. Jordan Clarkson went to Utah. His career took off. I mean, they
look at Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, Utah's been good at developing young players. So, like, if he gets out, if he just actually goes there, concentrates on basketball and learns a little bit, I think it actually could be good for the kid. Michael Kaepernick Jr. says Ace Bailey wanted to go to Washington.
Unfortunately, he didn't get his wish.
Nope.
Eddie Prather says Sixers dodged the bullet, not taking that Punk Bailey. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm with you, Eddie. I'm with you, except for the fact that like we gotta hope that as much as even Ace Bailey may seem like a punk, but let's just hope the kid don't become a star because then we're gonna look back and be like, shit, did we, was this another Jason Tatum situation? Because I think Edgecombe could be a decent player and I love his attitude, but like. I do worry a little bit about the fit with the Sixers. I mean, you look at the Sixers team going forward, and it's like, you got Maxey and McCain, so you got a small-ass backcourt. Then you got Edgecombe, and then you're going to probably keep Grimes. I don't know how you're going to play all these guys together. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know you need depth, but for instance, say they pay Grimes over $16 million a year. You're going to tell me you're going to give a guy over $16 to $20 million a year and he's barely going to get any minutes. So you're going to give Grimes minutes. You know what I'm saying? And then you invested a third pick overall in Edgecombe. Well, he's got to get some minutes. So
the Sixers aren't saying it, but they're rebuilding in a way. They're going to rebuild without Embiid in the future and without George in the future, but they obviously can't come out and say it. But Embiid, unfortunately, is going to be he's great, one of the best players out there when he's not injured. But when is he not injured? And George just doesn't fit. He doesn't fit this team. I didn't want him in the first place, and I still don't want him. It just doesn't fit here.
No, I get all that. I mean, I'm not. I think they're in the middle. I think they're kind of in the middle of like saying, "Hey, we're going to give it one more year."
Yeah.
But we're also rebuilding. My only question is though, like, how you going to play those four guys? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how's there? I guess how's there enough minutes or. Are they just in a situation where it's like, okay, hey, we love Edgecombe's, attitude. We're going to bring him in. He's got talent. We're not going to worry about the basketball fit. If Paul George and if George and Embiid actually are healthy, those two guys with Maxey, and then we'll worry about that shit later because the team will be built around Maxey, George, and Embiid, and then the other guys like Oubre and Justin. By the way, they sneaky good move. They upped Justin Edwards to 3 years. That kid can play a little bit.
They lost the other guy there. I forget his last name. Begins with a Y.
Oh, they lost Yabus. Yabusele signed with the Knicks, but I kind of like the guy.
Yeah,
the guy they brought in. The guy they brought in, Trendon Watford. They signed him like 2 year, I think. 2 year, like $6 million deal. But I saw him play against the Sixers a few times last year. He's like 6'8", he's athletic. He's one of Tyrese Maxey's boys. So I mean, I kind of
I like it.
I kind of like that, and I like what the one thing I do like what they're doing is they're not doing the shit that they did last year where they brought in dudes that were like, they brought in old players that were coming in with
Gordon.
They were coming in with like oxygen tanks. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Holmes, this is the NBA, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you got Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry. You know what I mean? You got Kyle Lowry out there. Like, I mean, I like Kyle Lowry. He's, local guy. He's had a great career. I mean, bro, it's fucking over, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get into coaching, dude. Like, I hope they don't bring him back because, like, if I have to watch Kyle Lowry or Eric Gordon take away good minutes from a guy like Grimes or Edgecombe or
Eric Gordon's gone. They declined him, so you don't have to worry about him.
Well, yeah, but I saw that, but then I read that they declined it, but he may re-up and it might be less of a cap hit, so he may be back, but we'll see. Because supposedly they want him to, like, I think he was on the Bahamas team or something, and they want him to possibly mentor Edgecombe. Like, I'm all right with him mentoring, but but I don't want to see him play. Like I was saying, like if I'm watching the Sixers next year and Eric Gordon's on the court and one of those guys isn't, I'm kind of pissed off. Like I don't want to see that shit.
Well, we're not going to win at anything next year, so I want to see some improvement and bring these guys together. Kind of like the Flyers. You're not going to make. There's no way. There's not one person in any what do you call it? Any sporting location or any publication that's going to say that anybody's going to win a cup or win a championship. But we need to see them better than last year and see them have potential. That's what you want to see out of both those teams right now. That's probably where you're at. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. And something interesting to watch because you couldn't even turn the damn Sixers on last year. I didn't want to watch.
Yeah.
I did not watch one full game, and I watched a ton of games. I did not watch one full game.
Yeah, how about this, what Paul Spencer says?
Yeah. He says, how do you feel Damian Lillard released? Still owed $22 million the next 4 years by the Bucks. Then they grab Miles Turner, a 2010 center. Yeah, I don't really understand. I don't get it. I mean, because like
the NBA's weird, like we said, Joey. You know what I mean? Yeah,
but I mean, Jeff, like I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you because of the injuries. You can't bank on Embiid staying healthy. You can't bank on Paul George staying healthy. But just to play devil's advocate, though, like looking at the East, Milwaukee's a cluster right now. Supposedly Giannis doesn't love losing Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
Boston's a mess with Tatum going and the guys and
that really like threw me for a loop, that whole mess that they did there.
Right, but I know it sounds improbable, but if the Sixers actually were healthy, if somehow Embiid got like a bionic knee in the offseason, which we know, okay, I get it, it's probably not going to happen, but just humor me and say, like, what if Embiid is healthy enough to be at 75%, he could play 50 games, but he's healthy for the playoffs? And what if George is healthy? This Sixers team at full capacity, they could win the East. I know it sounds crazy, but they could.
True.
So
but
things happen.
Realistically, that shit ain't happening. It's a pipe dream, but it would be nice. You're absolutely right. But like Joel Embiid actually staying healthy. Like,
no, I get it. Listen, I get it. I know it seems improbable. I want to like punch myself in the face for even bringing it up. To be honest,
that's okay. Don't
because I have because I got I got injury fatigue too. Yeah, remember Liar Liar where he starts kicking his own ass. You know what I mean? That's what I want to start doing right now. And probably half the people watching are probably like, dude, would you just shut the F up? I mean, we know Joel Embiid ain't going to play, but I got to put it out there though. I mean, if a healthy Joel Embiid, you look at this Sixers team.
It's on your shirt.
Yeah, well, right here. Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? I bought this shirt last year, like Yeah,
it was 5 and 10.
Or it was a discount. Yeah, but no, like, hey, I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe it'll work. And then I could have wiped my ass with it this year because they never even played. You know what I mean?
Well, after the show, just burned.
You got him before I did.
Joey, like, little Joey, come down. I got something to show you.
I know, right?
No,
but
I
seriously,
hear you.
But the all kidding aside, I mean the East is wide open. I mean the East kind of blows.
Pretty much, like you said, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, the Achilles tendon injury for Tatum, Jaylen Brown possibly leaving. You know, the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks are the Knicks. In
every sport, if you think about it, in every sport, there's always one or possibly two teams that you had no clue that come out and make the playoffs and have a run.
True.
Who thought the Mets last year were going to go as far as they did out of nowhere?
True.
But you watch football all the time. Isn't there that one team and all of a sudden out of nowhere, you're like, what the hell? How'd they get like that good? Just out of nowhere.
It doesn't happen much in basketball, though. I mean, well, you know what? No, maybe. You know what? Indiana, I don't think most people didn't think the Pacers would make the finals. So you know what? No, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean, but Indiana did have a nice team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did, but you didn't think you're seeing them actually beat the Knicks. Everybody was on the Knicks, blah, 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 this and that. And then the finals, like, it was like that Cinderella story. Like, damn, we're here.
Yeah. I think a sleeper team this year could be the Hawks.
You know what? The Hawks did have the Hawks so far have had a good offseason. Yep. And you know what? Orlando Magic, too.
Yep.
Well, I sent you that thing, Joe. I didn't send it to Jeff. Hawks, don't count out the Rockets.
Yeah, they were kind of
got some solid veterans mixed with KD. The Nuggets.
Yeah, well, they're in the West. I mean, they're in the West. The West is
the West is strong all around. I mean, you know.
But if you're talking East, I'm sorry, you know, the Magic.
Yeah.
And
the Magic and Atlanta are two sleeper teams that actually can do something.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah, Mike Packard Jr. says he hopes the Sixers don't go after the Greek Freak and mortgage their future. Yeah, I mean, I could feel it. You know, it depends. You know what? It depends. It depends for me because I don't want to mortgage the future. I don't want to mortgage the future either because I don't have confidence that Embiid's necessarily going to stay healthy. And I love Tyrese Maxey, but if you told me I could trade this won't happen, but like if you told me it was like Maxey and like a bunch of picks and something else, I mean, I would take that chance because we have a lot of guards. You know what I mean?
Maxey and 3 picks. There you go.
Yeah, but they could get more than that for Greek Freak though, so that's why I don't see that happening. You know, Mike Packard says I've heard Embiid loves Halliburton and like playing with Halliburton.
We had a chance for getting him 2 years ago and we didn't do it.
Yeah, the Ben Simmons trade.
Yeah, Mr. Soft. Yep. How's he doing? Oh, he's
Ben Simmons. So Ben Simmons ruined Halliburton for us. He ruined what's his face Butler for us.
Pretty much.
And he's still and Simmons doesn't have a team right now.
Oh, he's going to pick and choose, Jeff, where the pretty little boy can play. If he wasn't 6'10", he isn't shit. But let's move on.
Obviously not a shooter. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about his name anymore.
Mr. Softy.
They were talking on the radio about like if you would bring Ben Simmons back.
No,
nope,
no thanks. Then you definitely get me the team. No thanks.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But all right, what would you give the Sixers draft grades as far as like what do you guys think of Edgecombe and the other kid?
I'd give him a B plus. B. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how about whatchamacallit? All right. So let's get into a little Phillies here.
Okay.
What do you guys think of the series right now versus? We had the game. Or actually, how much concern do we have about Bryce Harper? What's your guys' concern on Harper's wrist?
Not
Sean, I'll start with you.
I mean, how bad is the wrist? the severity. You know, he looked. I mean, he went 0 for 3 last night. You know, but it's just good to have his presence back in the lineup. Yes. That's a big thing. Plus for me too, he might go back in the outfield, which I'm cool with because Marsh. I mean, I see him as a trade piece. Even Rojas, in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't think so, but if it's there, do it.
Yep.
I love how the fact. What are your thoughts on Otto Kemp? Man, he's up and down, but I like seeing a kid from the system finally brought up, letting him play the corner spots, first, third, and also left field, which he played in Lehigh. You know, it's good, and it makes Schwarber be that true DH.
Yep, they're not rushing him like they did Kingery.
Yeah.
They just need Kemp to be in there and do what he's doing because I already like Kemp better than I like Kepler. There's just something about
Kepler. I mean, everybody, I think, like even kind of me, I can admit, like the expectations in Minnesota, they were high. He was all like, you know what I mean? Yep. But some players, once they come to another team, it could be hit or miss.
Yeah.
And it's for him, and I think you can agree, it's been up and down.
Yeah.
Great, you know, good defensive, you know, one night, great offense, you know, but what do we want as fans? Consistency.
Yeah.
You know?
And then the bitch about, I was told ahead of time when I came here, I was the starting left fielder. Don't start that shit.
Yeah, true.
You don't start that shit in Philly.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't remember. We don't, excuse me, I'm sorry. I take that back. We don't forget. Look at Alec Bone.
Yep.
I bleep and hate this place. We might forget, but you know damn well if somebody's at that stadium, they're saying it to you. They're calling Gaffey and every name in the book. But just keep doing what you're doing. But at the same time, he's young. He let his emotions get to him. But he really shouldn't have said that because the Philly fans aren't going to forget.
No, this doesn't work. But we need a stud hitter in the middle. We got to get rid of Marsh. We got to get rid of Rojas. We need Cedric Mullins or somebody like that.
Well, since you said that, you have Cedric Mullins, who you said. You have Lewis Roberts.
Who's hurt right now, though.
I'm gonna spit names.
Yep.
Lewis Robert, Aroldis Garcia.
Yep.
Duran, who I would definitely. I want him. I love the way he hustles. He's young, and if I have to give to get, so be it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, just his off-season workouts, just the way he plays the game. I can go on and on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, a right-handed hitter, and let's not forget the bullpen.
Oh, big time.
Now,
I want to see is
you want to get the guys that are out there. We're hearing the names.
Bednar.
You would want Bednar. Felix Bautista.
I take him too. Yep.
Okay. Do you bring back? I wouldn't want it. Sir Anthony Dominguez.
No.
Okay. There's another guy, man.
I know they were talking. The A's are doing too good, but I know they like Miller again. Miller.
You see, but
he's up and down
too. But they're not gonna. The time was last year.
Yeah.
And you know, they're not gonna part with him. He is kind of that integral part to that team. You know what I mean? Yep. He throws heat. But there's another guy. I'm just mad about Estevez leaving, man, because I got him in fantasy, and he is doing a hell of a job in Kansas City. They're playing him right. They're using him right. But, yeah, I mean, definitely.
You know who's having a bad year for us, too, that hurts us, too, is Christ, I'm going to totally forget his name.
Give me a position.
Long hair.
Marsh.
No.
Marsh.
The pitcher, Strom.
I think he's trying too hard. Exactly. I could see it in his face. Like
he reminds me of Hector Neris. He reminds me of Hector Neris. He can come in, blow you away, and look great. And next game, he gets up the game.
Nah, I beg to differ. I've been to a couple Hector Neris games, Jeff, and we were winning.
Yeah.
And he gave up, I think, 3 home runs. And we lost the game like 19. Yeah. It was against the Nationals. But, yeah, I wouldn't put him in the Hector Neris category, but he is trying too hard. Just be you, dude. Be that long-haired dude like you were last year. You know?
I think he's I think he's overcompensating because there's not much out there. You know, Tanner Banks is doing okay when
I like him, yeah. Because there was one game, I don't know if you watched it. Oh, it was the bullpen game. Or no, it was I'm sorry, Mick Abel was supposed to pitch.
Oh, yeah.
And he ended up pitching, and he did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
You know, you got him, Kirkring. I love how he is finally settling in.
But he needs to be our closer. I cannot take Jordan coming out there anymore. I just don't want him on the team. I don't care if they cut him and have to pay him and give him a check.
Little Dicky, he's just he made me so mad. I think I text Joey like what the F when he gave up that grand slam.
Yep.
This Sean Murphy.
Yep.
And I'm like, really?
Yep.
What do you guys think of this? Mike Pappert Jr. says the Phillies have a closer in Kirkering, but Robbie, with no rules in the bullpen and bullpen by committee, will never use him in that role. What do you guys think of that?
I agree.
That is him, you know. But
you put somebody in the role and let them go for a little bit, then their mindset can go there.
Yeah,
they don't do that.
They don't get comfortable in it. Exactly. No. Like it's like saying, "Hey Joe, you're going to be 6th inning guy. You're going to eat it." Jeff, 7th, 8th. Sean, you're the closer. Next night, I'm in the 7th, 8th. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like it's mismanagement. Just like Mike's saying, all of us, just give the team its identity. Like if you look at the Yankees, the Brewers, and even the Mets, they all have 6th, 7th, 8th guys, like what their roles are. Robbie just sits
the Braves
there.
bullpen and the Mets bullpen suck also.
You know,
but they got money.
Exactly, but at least they have roles where Robbie the Zombie just looks and, oh, am I talking? I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's bullshit. Like something has to give.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of some of the room? I mean, yesterday there was a rumor out there the Phillies were looking at the 2 guys from the Pirates. Did you?
Yeah, I said Bednar. I went. Bednar.
Oh yeah, okay.
I seen Bednar.
Mm-hmm.
I seen Brian Reynolds, like you said, Joey. That was another guy, switch hitter. But when you stepped away, I want Joey Duran. I want Duran. Really, I really do.
He'd be a great center fielder.
I think if anybody else wants to comment, like I think he's that firecracker. Just the way he plays the game, I like it.
Yeah, Mike Pappert Jr. says Robbie had Rivera when he was a bench coach in Newark and saw him used every night. Jaded Robbie from loving a closer. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I've always liked having a traditional closer myself. Yeah. I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys. You know,
I totally agree.
I mean, losing Alvarado, not having Alvarado is really going to hurt down the stretch. That's why they get. I feel like Dombrowski's got to do something because this team is so close. I mean, the starting pitching is so tremendous.
It's the best in the league. You look at it, and they're the top 1 in the league.
Yeah,
and I'm scared of them losing Suarez. Ranger cannot leave this team.
Yeah, I know. And sadly, I think that he's pitching so well. He's probably pitching himself off the team. You know what I mean?
Like I said, Jeff, it's a shame. Like you said, him. I think Mick Abel, Aiden Miller. Somebody is getting packaged, but it has to be the right package, like we said.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean,
and bring Crawford up.
Trade.
What the hell?
You can't trade Suarez right now, though. I heard somebody mention that too. But like, if you're trying to win the World Series, you want to go forward with. You want Wheeler, Suarez, Sanchez, and Luzardo as your top 4.
Yeah.
I would actually put Luzardo in the bullpen. Luzardo is not Luzardo like he was in the beginning. He's starting to veer off a little. Ranger is just, Ranger's like what, a 1.1 ERA in the last 6 games. He's just like smooth.
Yeah, but you want to use Luzardo as the 4th starter. I mean, because you're gonna need 4 starters probably in a 7-game series.
You got Wheeler. Who the hell knows what Nola's going to be? Or stick Nola in the bullpen.
I don't want Nola. I mean, this is a wash year for Nola.
We got too many good pitchers, which we may have to move something. If we have to move Luzardo, let's move Luzardo.
We're going to have Taiwan Walker, guys, as a 4th. How's that for a conversation? There you go.
I can't stand him either.
There you go. You got to have, I don't think Luzardo goes in the bullpen. As much as you would like to, it's like you said, Wheeler, Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, Luzardo. Because you got so much problem with Walker, and like you said, you don't know the for Noah, you don't know the situation. It's bullshit.
Yeah, Reynolds has a huge contract, so I don't.
I just seen that. I seen that on Google had it on there, But if anything, I really would be interested in seeing what they want for Duran, in my opinion.
Yeah, Dombrowski has a lot to prove this trade deadline. He really does.
Yeah, Mike Papper Jr. says Suarez might have to go as he's going to walk after the season. I hear you, but he's pitching so well that I wouldn't. I mean, I don't want to lose him, but I want to win. I want to try to win the World Series. So I'm at the point where I'm not doing shit with Ranger. If he walks after the season, well, I'm hoping we win the World Series before he walks.
Now, just like Mike said, do you really see Suarez walking though? Do you see
yes.
I really for the money, obviously, not just for this.
Someone's going to pay him, and we're not. I mean, we're not going to be able to. How many big contracts can you have in your rotation? You know what I mean?
It's so true. I also seen something. What are your thoughts on this? You let Schwarber go, who's 33, and then you sign Kyle Tucker from the Cubs.
I mean, you're taking a gamble because I don't want to lose Schwarber's power. He's the only power hitter we got right now.
True.
So I mean, and I love Schwarber. I mean, if you're telling me that's a definite move, I mean, Tucker's younger, so that's
how I see it. And then I see Schwarber's age 33. They're giving him a 2-year contract for.
They offered him 70. I think it was 78,
and he didn't like
it. Yep.
Yeah.
They said he wants upwards of 90 plus.
They were saying in one contract of 120. Come on.
Well, that's what he would get on the. They said that's what they think he would get on the open market. He'd have to take a little bit of discount to stay with the Phillies.
Okay, let's play devil advocate. Who the hell would? Well, Yankees.
Yep.
And then I seen something on
someone will give it to him.
He could go back to the Cubs and lose Tucker. He'll go right back to the Cubbies. Finish his career where he started.
They were saying in an article, I think I sent it to Joey, not you, Jeff. Skeen going to the Dodgers because they had the best farm system. They're aggressive in the front office, but
Mike Papper Jr. says he's here and Suarez won 7 years. See, as much as I like Suarez, though, with his injury history, he's great right now. But if you give him 7 years of big money, you might really regret that. That's the thing. You know what I mean?
Just like you said, Joey, injury, and he has a bad ass back, and it's for a pitcher. Yeah. I'm right there with you. I'm not gambling because
Tucker wants 11 to 13-year contract for 6
okay.
Well, Tucker's going to be 29, and he turns 29 next. So next year he's going to be 29. He's 28 now. He turns 29 in January.
Yep. Yeah, so there's going to be some decisions to make. People aren't going to like it, but you can't have every good player. Only Steinbrenner could. Steinbrenner bought everybody.
True. And as you get older, injuries pile up. And when you get hurt, my man Nicole right here is my man Jason Fine, a.k.a. Attorney Big Al. So if you get hurt on the job or you slip and fall, he'll get you paid. So motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or personal injury claims. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 in Pittsburgh. So, hey, he would be good if Brian Reynolds gets hurt with his big-ass contract. He's in Pittsburgh, so he could hook him up too.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, no, like you guys said, I mean, there's some big decisions in the off season for this team. Big decisions at the trade deadline. But the hope is that Dombrowski, because the window's wide open this year. Other than the bullpen and needing another bat, I think the biggest concern right now is Harper's wrist, because that he didn't sound encouraging. When he was talking about his wrist the other night. Didn't sound encouraging. It sounded like they don't know what the hell's wrong.
He probably needs surgery in the offseason.
What else?
A nerve issue. But if you watched over years the way he hits and other players hit, it's wrist over wrist. So for him having a wrist problem in general, he's just playing through it. And like you said, he in a roundabout way he does protect the batter behind him. Because who wants to pitch to Harper? You don't know when he's going to hurt you, and you don't want to be that pitcher. That helps a little bit, but you don't want it to get any worse because you still got this guy for a long time.
So true.
So you're kind of stuck.
It's
almost Embiid-ish in a way. It's almost Embiid-ish. You think about it, really.
It's hard to believe now they're officially halfway through that contract.
Yeah.
Who would have thought, man? Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's look. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say let's look ahead. All right, let's look ahead to this week. So, we had 3 with San Diego, 3 with Cincinnati. They won last night, so you're already 1-0. Tomorrow we got a doubleheader. Tomorrow we got a doubleheader. You got Mick Abel going, I think, the first game. Christopher Sanchez going game 2, and then you got the 3 with Cincinnati. What do you got? What would it be? Luzardo, Ranger, and Wheeler, I think, right?
I believe so.
Okay. So, all right. So they're already 1-0. So out of the next 5, what's the Phillies record? What do the Phillies do in these next 5 games?
3-2.
Okay. So that would be a 4-2 homestand.
They got to score runs. They're just not scoring enough runs. That's the big thing right now. Even small ball, they're just not doing it. That's the way they scored. They had that one big breakout game, which was fun to them. That's what they need to get back in. Fun. Have fun.
Yeah.
They're squeezing their butts tight. What's happening right now?
Yeah, I feel like last night's game was like with the base running was like the first time I've seen that in forever.
It was fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
We were going 8 in strong.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Sean? What are the Phillies? What are the Phillies doing these next 6?
4-2.
Or the next? I'm sorry, the next 5 actually, because we already won. All right, so they go 3-2 the next 5.
Yeah.
All right, I'm right with you guys. I see the same thing. They probably split the doubleheader tomorrow. Then you take 2 or 3 from Cincy.
You can almost say Wheels is a given. I mean, he's just an all.
Yeah, and Mike Papper says, just remember Harper hasn't had 100 RBI since 2019 and nothing higher than 87 since then. Yeah, I mean, Harper's an extremely likable player, and I hate to shit on the guy because I do really like him. You know what I mean? And he's all Philly and all that stuff. But like you said, Jeff, I mean, just keeping it real. I'm starting to. It is starting to get like Joel Embiid like with some of these injuries, and it does concern you going forward because we are only halfway through this contract. So there's got to be a real sense of urgency to get this title this year.
Because he's not getting an extension. I'm sorry.
No, I think that's why they held off that extension. I think they wanted a reason to hold off. Well, this is a good behind door reason.
Hold your wrist.
There's too many. You got too many injuries going on. We can't do that unless they have some kind of clause in there where injury injury clause to get rid of you, that kind of thing. But that's something that you have to agree to it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you look at where the Phillies are. I mean, this is the best. This is the best starting pitching that they've had since the 2011 season of Roy Halladay and Cliff Lee and Hamels and the quote unquote four aces. This is the best pitching they've had since then. And you got to capitalize on this because let's be real. Say Ranger walks, Luzardo has pitched pretty good most of the time, Al, but he may start to show some warts. So if you lose Ranger and Luzardo comes back to earth, then all of a sudden, who knows what you got with Nola going forward. And Wheeler, as great as Wheels Up is, and he's great, he's also, 35, 36 years old, and he's only
2 more years. He's retiring. He's retiring to Philly. He's done. Staying home with the kids.
The time to strike is now. Yeah, I mean, so if I'm Dave Dombrowski, I mean, I don't necessarily want to mortgage the future per se, but you know what though? I mean, you got to strike. I mean, you got to get a right-handed bat. You got to get a couple bullpen guys. And give this team a real fucking chance to win this shit.
And here's the weirdest part of all. Take a look at the stats. The Phillies are one of 3 teams to have 50 wins. Who the hell thought the Phillies would have 50 wins? Look at their team. I mean, it's really weird to look at the holes that they have, and they're 50 wins. It's just crazy. I actually look at that. I'm thinking, they're really that good, or the league's that bad?
Well, that's the thing. Their pitching's that good.
Yeah.
I mean, our outfield, I can make an argument that our outfield is the worst outfield in all Major League Baseball. Our outfield sucks. So you got a horrible outfield. The bullpen, Kerkering's been deep. Kerkering's been pretty good. Romano blows. Yep. Strom hasn't been the same guy. The kid, who's the other left-handed kid? I'm drawing a blank. Banks is okay, but you got a mostly shitty bullpen.
Joe Ross is a bullpen. I mean, Joe Ross is just like a
right. Is an innings eater.
Yeah,
and he's doing it. I have no problem with him.
Yeah,
but you think about it though. That's how good this team is in certain spots. That's how good Trey Turner's been. That's how good Schwarber's mostly been. And that's how unbelievably great the starting pitching is. So, hey, Dave Dombrowski, man, find a way, dude. You're a Hall of Fame GM. Do what you got to do. Get this team over the hump, man, because they're right there.
This little core, this is it for them. This is their last chance.
Yeah, Mike Papper Jr. says Harper's home run total year, I believe, will be 25 to 30 with 30. I think that is pushing it. I mean, possibly. I mean, we got to see what's up with this injury.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we'll get a lot more Phillies talk the next time we're on. We're gonna take a few weeks off because next week there's really nothing going on except
for July weekend. So.
Yeah. So next week we're gonna.
I'll be in Cabo, guys. On my yacht.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know, right?
Enjoy.
Yeah, so
good show for me.
Yeah, so I think the next time we'll be back, it'll be right around NFL training camp, and we'll right before Phillies trade deadline. So we'll have Phillies trade deadline. Hopefully they do something, and we'll be getting Eagles up because the Eagles will be getting ready to defend the Super Bowl title. So
10 more Sundays.
Yep.
Hang on, one more comment here. Mike Papper Jr. says Rincones Jr. and Crawford need to get up to play the outfield, move Kepler to the bench, trade Rojas and Marsh.
Totally agree.
Let's see if they're ready for it between now and the All-Star break. Let's see.
And remember this: they hate us because they ain't us.
That's right. So, all right. Well, listen. Hey, happy 4th to everybody out there. Have a great weekend. Make sure you don't pull a who the hell was
Jason Pierre pulled.
There you go.
Yeah, the fireworks for the pros.
Yeah.
Enjoy Cabo.
Yeah,
I'll be in Cabo, guys.
Yeah, don't pull the Jason Pierre Paul. Yeah, I remember that.
Sammy Hagar. He plays a lot of places down there. Yeah. Cabo Wabo, and just jumps into the bars in there and plays.
Yeah, so All right, well, go Phils, and
Phils, baby.
we'll see you all in a few weeks.
Take it easy, guys.
Have a